Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today I just want to talk about Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a movie that just got released based on, well, I guess you want to say Freddie Mercury, but also Queen, the band Queen. Now, I don't want to give away spoilers in this video. The movie's too new for me to do that. I don't want to do that. So this is just going to be my kind of thoughts on the film. And it's been a while since I've actually seen such a great movie. And it's, I don't know if I don't want to get into things like, the editing and the, all that kind of stuff because I'm not a big movie reviewer. I don't really review movies on that kind of scale. But I really enjoyed what I saw, and I didn't know how to feel when I walked into this movie. I saw the previews. I remember seeing the previews for it. I mean, I like Queen. I got into Queen around, the time when they released the classic Queen and the Queen's Greatest Hits album. So, I have to admit that even though I have always listened to, like, I've always been a big fan of rock music and stuff like that, and I've listened to many different genres of music. Queen wasn't one of them when I was younger. I didn't grow up with it. I wasn't really aware of them. And, sad to say, I think it has to do with Wayne's World as to why, Queen kind of became a thing. Not a thing, I can't say that, but kind of brought into uh, my generation or the later generations that might not have experienced Queen from the early 70s. So, watching Wayne's World when they put in Bohemian Rhapsody and they're headbanging in the car, and that's around the time when the Queen albums got kind of like the greatest hits and the classic Queen came out, and it was just introduced to a whole new audience of people. So that's around the time that I actually really started to experience Queen. And I listened to a lot, like I listened to those albums a lot. And those are just greatest hits albums, right? Like I don't think I've ever bought an actual Queen album outside of those. But those are all their great songs. So um, if you go to see the movie, or if you've already seen it, you'll know that all those songs, all those great songs are actually in that movie. And that's what I loved. I mean, they didn't just dive into a lot of the old stuff, but they put out a lot of the classic stuff, a lot of the great stuff. And I'm sure they did that on purpose. They wanted to show the songs that people were familiar with. It almost felt like, I was in the theater. I really expected to hear people singing along, clapping along, especially to like, We Will Rock You and stuff. Like it almost felt like those movies like Rocky Horror Picture Show or Mamma Mia or something where people are going to be dancing in the aisles and stuff. Like I kind of felt that. Now, bear that in mind. I was in the VIP screening. I can't, it's a little bit of a different kind of experience than if you go into a more of the public where you get a lot more of the crowds. Um, I don't know. I think I've been spoiled with the VIP package. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Cineplex is the theater that I go to, and they have a VIP area where it's only adults are allowed in there. And so you basically have to be like 19 and over to get in. They serve booze. You sit down at your designated chair. You buy the seats online, and someone will come up and take your order. And you can order beer. You can order food, like gourmet food, not just food, but food, like good food, like you know, like I ordered shrimp tacos and stuff like that. Like it's not like it's your average, popcorn and candy all the time. But anyway, so and also I went at an odd time. We went at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, which is weird. But by the time I realized that we were going to go and see the movie, all the seats for the 4 o'clock, the 7 o'clock, all the popular shows were already sold out. So I'm sure if you go into the later ones, maybe they would have been a little bit more rowdier, more people in there. So that could have just been my experience. Anyways, on to the movie. Now, like I said, I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to really give much away. Um, what I just wanted to talk about was the actors. Um, Rami, I think his name is the star of the show. I mean, he's the Freddie Mercury character. He did a really good job, and one of the things I like to study when I watch these kind of biopics, because I love biopics. I love watching them, even when they're not even accurate. Like Man on the Moon, one of my favorite movies, and that movie is just a mess when it comes to accuracy. I had to like really learn about Andy Kaufman after that one and find out how much that movie was wrong. But one of the things I was studying was his mannerisms, his facial expressions, his movements, and it seemed like he really did capture the essence of Freddie Mercury. And from the clips that I've seen before, from the interviews, from the concert footage and stuff, like it really felt like he was Freddie Mercury. And the guy who played Brian May, I mean, there were so many times I had to remind myself that's not Brian May. That is an actor playing Brian May, and he looked. I mean, he just looked the part. And I respect that. I like when these biopics take the time to really make the actors, I mean, as close as they can do it, anyways, look like the original people. And usually they do. I mean, with Man on the Moon, like I said earlier, they really tried to make Jim Carrey look like Andy Kaufman. But then after that, it was up to Jim Carrey to try and be Andy Kaufman, which, in a way he kind of did and didn't. Whereas these ones, I kind of felt that they were more in tune. Now, maybe it could be because Brian May was involved in this project. Brian May's the guitar player. Maybe because of that, and he wanted to make sure that there was a lot of, they actually looked like that, and they actually pulled off the essence of the people. Um, that being said, I mean, they did mess with the timeline of it. I did see a video on YouTube where they were kind of showing the realities, but they're very minor. I mean, it's just like, certain things they showed happening before the Live Aid concert, which this whole movie is based on. Really, it centers around the Live Aid concert, essentially. So some of the stuff that they did or they talked about didn't actually happen until after the concert. That's not a big deal. I mean, okay, so they brought, the AIDS thing. We all know that Freddie Mercury died of AIDS, so that's not I'm not spoiling anything. We all know what happened. And that's kind of the thing with these biopic movies. You kind of know the ending. He passed away with AIDS, and that was a big thing. It was a big loss. I mean, to lose someone like him, to lose a talent like him so early. I believe he was 45 when he died. I mean, that's fairly young for someone of this caliber, and it was kind of sad. And I have to admit, during the ending piece there, when they were showing the Live Aid, I started getting that kind of that tingly feeling in my stomach, and it was just like realizing how how his presence, how commanding he was, and just feeling that now. Again, the timeline was a little bit off. So in the movie, they make it seem like we already knew he was dying of AIDS, and that's just not the way it goes down. But still, as far as the movie goes, I mean, that's what they have to do. They have to skew a bit to bring the momentum, to bring the kind of feeling you're going to expect from watching a movie. You don't watch a movie to watch like a history report. You watch a movie to get that feeling, and that's what it did. It brought out that feeling. I mean, through the whole time you're watching that concert, the Live Aid concert. What again? They really went like. I mean, they went all out trying to really imitate the real Live Aid concert. And I remember watching it way before I even knew this movie was coming out. I remember watching it on YouTube and still having that feeling of like, wow, like to be there to see Queen doing what they did, and like the songs that they played and just the power that they had and the performance from Freddie Mercury was just amazing. And rewatching it in this movie, knowing that they're actors on stage, and at one point I almost started forgetting that this is an act. Like these are actors. Like I started really feeling that this was really Queen up on the stage, and it just I don't know. It just really gave that feeling. So if you're thinking about seeing this, and if you have any liking of any of Queen's movies, I would suggest going to see this movie. Very powerful movie, very dramatic. There's funny scenes, lots of funny stuff in there, and if they throw it in very subtle. There's some sad points. There's some confusing points. There's a lot of things in this movie. It's just really good. And I mean, they end it properly. They end it on a high note. And so that is all I want to say without having to like really get into spoiling the movie. Um, I do want to give a partial spoiler. So if you don't want to hear this, you can exit at this point. And I'm not going to give away an actual thing, but Mike Myers is in the movie. And, at one point, I didn't realize the character after a little bit, and then I'm like, that's Mike Myers, isn't it? And he kind of plays a character. I don't know if this character exists in real life. I don't know if this is a real person. But he does make a comment and it has to do with Wayne's World. So look out for that if you're going to go and watch this movie, because I noticed it and I laughed when I heard it in the theater. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because I've been sitting on this. I saw it yesterday from recording this, and it's just been stewing inside me, and I just wanted to talk about it, and I didn't know how to say it. I don't know. I think I want to have to go and see it again or something, or I'm gonna buy it when it comes out on DVD or something. I'm gonna have to see it again because it was just a really great performance, and I really hope that they win something. I mean, I hope they get nominated for stuff and this actually gets, the recognition it deserves because it was a really good movie and I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.